Hi there. Hello. Vasileus Chekarus here. Welcome to a new video on the channel. And as I promised, this video today is reacting to ancient site. As I see here, they're focusing a lot on the eastern side of the Roman Empire, and I see some videos, in general about the West and the United Roman Empire. I'm talking about more so about the late Roman period, rather than the ancient early or mid Roman period. So yeah, actually, yeah, from Crisis to Diocletian, yeah, starting from Diocletian basically, all the way until Constantine the Fifth, and maybe I mean he still paused, so maybe he will continue with Leo the Fourth. Who knows? But yeah, today's episode basically no, we're gonna react to some videos. I mean, one video. I don't have time to react to like all of the videos, but we will if you guys like it. And yeah, let me see. Honorius and Stilica. I think. Okay, so I don't want to be no, I don't want to be too picky here. I could, little start from beginning and have a series, but I'm not sure if I will continue watching, this channel. So to be safe, I won't take like the first video that he posted lately, or either the first video on the channel. I guess I could take one in between, and why not take Justin and Tiberius? Like, I assume this is Justin and Tiberius after Justinian, right? So it's Justin and Tiberius. So Justin the second and Tiberius the second are very underrated emperors. So I believe we should shine some light to those emperors as well, because they may be mischaracterized or assume that they were the best or the worst. So we could learn more about them. So let's learn more about them. If we're gonna like the video, then obviously we're gonna watch more videos and maybe even go back or even go forward. Who knows? But for now, let's check out Justin and Tiberius basically. Okay then. So right, let's I mean, I like the map already, so I'm gonna do a preemptive like over here, and I also round up to 840 likes, so why not? And yeah, let's watch the video. Let's put it in 1080p. I'm gonna have the let's see. What? Okay, maybe it's just without the voice or what?
On the night
Oh,
of
never mind. We have a voice. Okay, I got scared for a second.
November the 14th,
Okay.
565, the death of the childless Justinian was
Yeah, can you believe it? Justinianus was childless. I mean, she did have his succession secured with his nephew, Justinus, becoming of obviously Justinus the second. But still, why not have a child? I mean, yeah, sure, that will create like a no, like a discourse between them. Like it will create a succession crisis. But like either way, well, don't you want to have a child? Okay, well, anyways, I'm getting off topic here.
reported by only one witness.
Mm,
The latter,
Callinicus.
a high official named Callinicus, claimed that the great emperor had designated his nephew Justin as successor.
There are actually two successors, two heirs at a time, two Caesars. Obviously, the nephew of Justinianus, and then the son of Justinianus's deceased cousin Germanus, named also Justinus, but nicknamed Justinus Germanus, basically. So um, it was like debated who will become emperor, but eventually, of course, Justinus became
The
emperor.
senators backed this claim.
Mm.
Justin had prominent allies in the palace, with the support of the commander of the imperial guard, Tiberius, and the patriarch
Tiberius, the future Tiberius the second Constantinus.
of Constantinople, John Scholasticus. Justin II was acclaimed Augustus.
It's nice animation, by the way. This one as well. Okay, pretty nice. Reminds me of like a combination between Nolegia and epic history. Yeah.
There was another major candidate for the imperial throne.
Yep.
The son of the deceased general Germanus. who was
Germanus died in 552, if I'm mistaken. He was supposed to lead the expedition to finally conquer the Goths, but he died unfortunately, and it was Narses, the unique Narses, who did it.
named Justin. He was at the time Magister Militum in Illyricum and was invited by the new emperor to the capital. However, Justin II saw this man as a rival and exiled him to Egypt.
And he later died.
An Avar embassy came to welcome the accession of Justin and request the tribute previously paid by Justinian.
Interesting, yeah. Justinus II cancelled the Avar tribute. Needing this gold, the horse lords would find a way to get it.
Considered such payments to be a humiliation and refused his demand.
Bro, his ego was... Okay, he was already doing something bad. Okay. The reason why Justinianus paid them was for a good reason, Justinus. But you didn't listen. You didn't learn.
The Gepids and Lombards were once again at war.
Lombards, I hate you.
Justin changed the imperial diplomatic policies and backed the Gepid king Cunimund, who offered to give the city of Sirmium in exchange. The following year started with the emperor celebrating his consulship and redeeming some taxes for the population.
Wait, so like, I know that when an emperor is ascended to the throne, to the purple, they, traditionally they serve as consul for a year. So they don't immediately become consul in that same exact year. They have to wait until the next year comes up, basically. Okay, I didn't know that.
He also had the other Justin assassinated in Egypt. His military support of the Gepids was successful enough to convince the endangered Lombards to ask the Avars for help. Since Cunimund had not ceded Sirmium.
The Avars was also pretty bad enemies of the empire.
And thus failed to honor his part of the deal. Justin withdrew his support.
Interesting.
The emperor attempted his own conciliation with the non-Chalcedonians. He invited their leaders such as Jacob Baradeus and
Jacobus Varadenus,
Patriarch Theodosius of Alexandria, to Constantinople. Here, both sides managed to find common ground on a specific statement of faith that did not mention Chalcedon. However, a non-Chalcedonian council held at Callinicum rejected it. Thus, nothing decisive was achieved.
Damn.
Fighting against both Lombards and Avars, Cunimund was this time defeated by Alboin and killed.
Damn.
His kingdom was overrun by his enemies. The emperor exploited the opportunity to capture Sirmium.
I mean, Sirmium was a pretty, strategical, important fort defending the Danube frontier, especially Illyricum.
After a falling out with the Sasanian Shah, the Turkic Yabgu Istami sent diplomats to the court of Justin.
The Turks!
The two states concluded both an alliance and a trade agreement.
See guys, the Turks had had the relations with the Romans even in the 500s, dude. Even in the 500s.
The growing threat of the Avars pushed the Lombards to migrate west, while the newcomers raided Dalmatia.
Damn.
Sirmium was also attacked, but managed to hold out. Italy, for its part, was weakly defended, and the Lombards rapidly conquered the north.
I mean, if the border stayed like this, it would have been fine. It would be fine, but they had to freaking conquer Tuscany, Emilia-Romagna, and Beneventum and Spoleto, of course.
Tiberius was sent to deal with the Avars. He tried to reach an agreement with them, but diplomacy derailed, and nothing was concluded. In the administrative field, an effort was given to limit corruption.
I mean, an effort,
the way in which the governors were elected changed, as the sale of this title was now forbidden. Warfare reignited in Africa with the king of the Moro-Roman kingdom, Granules. He killed both the local prefect Theodore and the Magister Militum Theosticus. For several decades, Himyar had been under the Christian Aksumite dominion. Now, the Sasanians intervened and conquered the kingdom.
Damn. That's crazy.
After the death of the previous kings, the Arab client states continued their wars into the next generation. The new Ghassanid king successfully repelled a Lakhmid raid
Interesting.
and decisively defeated his rival.
Nice.
Al-Mundir demanded additional money from his overlord for his victorious men.
Makes sense,
Justin, angered by his demand,
Bro, this guy, Justinus. Oh, what the heck did I do? Okay.
to assassinate.
What the heck? Okay, there we go. Fix. Okay. What I was about to say, Justin, you cannot. Bro, you get angry every time someone asks for money, bro. You can always find money somewhere else. Money is not like you're gonna. It's not like you're gonna get poor, right? You have literally Egypt, Africa for like large amounts of revenue. Dude, just chill. Like you can spend money at this point.
The king. However, the latter intercepted the order. This event severely weakened relations with the Arabs.
Damn.
Tiberius had initial successes
No,
against
we
the
lost
Avars,
Tuscany.
after which he suffered a defeat.
Damn.
The campaign had been unsuccessful, and after a delicate diplomatic mission, Justin had to pay a heavy tribute.
Bruh. At the end of it all, you had to pay a heavier tribute than you were supposed to. Good job, Justin. Good job.
With their new king, Leovigild, the Visigoths pushed back in Hispania, retaking territory,
Damn.
while yet another Roman commander fell against Grameles.
Bro, at this point, I know the empire was running low on manpower and the economy was busted. But like at this point, Justin, you're doing nothing at all. Like you have to realize you're being attacked on multiple fronts. So what do? You solely focus on only one front, defeat them quickly, and then focus on another front, defeat them quickly as well, and then focus on the stronger foe. Basically, in this case, being either the Visigoths or the Lombards, depending on how much strength each one has. So what I will do in Just's place, basically, I will send a large portion of my army from, let's say, Italy and a bit of army from Anatolia and Illyricum to defeat the Mavro-Romans, and then after the Berbers and the Moors are secured, then you can exploit the province of Africa for its economical purposes and the manpower they have to focus on defense in the in Hispania basically. Maybe even defeat and reconquer the lands that were conquered by Leovigild, and maybe who knows, maybe play kingmaker and place like a client kingdom in Visigothia, Then after this front is secured, you can focus on the Lombards. Sure, if you focus on the African front and on the Spanish front, you may lose some territories in Italy, but those will be temporary because then you will have experienced and veteran army to fight the Lombards and who knows, maybe even retake all of Italia. And then after you take all of Italia, then you can only focus on the Avars and the Sassanids. Simple as that.
A second statement of faith was declared by the emperor. Again, the opposition could not accept the compromise. Justin's attempts at conciliation had failed.
Damn.
And he restarted the persecutions against the non-Chalcedonians.
Bro.
In
I say emperors shouldn't have been involved so much in religious matters, bro. It weakened the empire more than it strengthened it.
Minya, the Sasanians were trying to convert the population from Christianity to Zoroastrianism. The Armenians, however, having called the Romans for help, vigorously rebelled and killed the local Persian governor.
Damn.
With the aggressive moves made by Khosrow on Himyar and recent Lakhmid raids, the opportunity was more than enough to convince Justin. Styling himself as the protector of all Christians.
Bro, you are not even that great. Oh my gosh. This war, even like for an average person living in Constantinople, wouldn't go that good. This war wouldn't go that good based on what Justin has done during his reign.
Stopped paying the Lazic war tribute to Persia and thus broke the 50-year peace. The recent plot, as well as the anti-Monophysite persecutions, had ended the alliance with King Al-Mundir.
Good job, Justin.
This meant that the Empire would not rely on the Ghassanids to protect its southern border.
Yeah. Bro, even if without the Ghassanids, if you did the strategy that I told about previously, basically, of getting Africa secured and Hispania and Italia, basically getting the West secured, then you will have enough resources to at least have a stalemate, at the very least, have a stalemate with the Sassanids in the war, in the upcoming war. And who knows, like at least, push back, retake Armenia, and maybe some borderlands over here. Get, the Ghassanids, because of your prestige and your victories, you will get the Ghassanids under your influence again, and maybe, deal a major, push into the Lakhmids and or in Mesopotamia, basically, and, reinforce the eternal peace.
The invasion of the Lombards continued. Most of the peninsula was lost. Only the main strongholds were preserved.
And since this point on, the Romans will never be able to reconquer Spoleto, Tuscany, and most of Beneventum. Yeah, sure, in like hundreds of years they will take the southern parts and influence a bit of the north, but other than that, they will never retake the north. They will never retake Tuscany. They will never retake Spoleto.
After the assassination of Alboin, the aggressive King Clef took power and continued the attacks.
Bro.
The Persian War started with a Roman army forcing its way to the crucial Sasanian fortress of
Marcianus, another like general.
Nisibis. The commander of this army was dismissed at the same time as a relief force arrived.
Bruh.
This was no good for the Romans, who were pushed back.
Poor Acatius.
Khosrow decided to counterattack and blockade the crucial Roman fortress in return. Dara, another Persian force, managed to pillage deep into Syria.
That's why you should have another fort like right here.
Then Dara was taken by the Persians.
Bye Dara.
This already terrible situation was worsened when the emperor's mental health suddenly deteriorated, making him unable to rule.
Yep.
This meant that sometimes he had to be physically restrained for the security of others.
Yeah, and his throne basically was made into a wheelchair.
So to prevent the man from harming himself.
Yep.
Some Monophysites did not miss the occasion to declare that this mental illness was, in fact, a divine punishment for the latest religious persecutions.
Obviously.
With her husband in such incapacity,
Damn.
Empress Sophia sought assistance from Tiberius in order to rule. The new heads of state.
Tiberius saw the opportunity and literally took the opportunity.
Negotiated a year of truce in Mesopotamia. The aggressive Avars also had to be placated with a tribute.
Yep.
On the 7th of December of that year, Emperor Justin, in one of his lucid moments, decided to confirm Tiberius's power via an adoption, making him a Caesar, and thus his designated heir.
Yep.
The latter demonstrated his generosity to the population, both giving away large amounts of money and lowering taxes to increase his popularity.
I mean, yeah, that's good for the public image, but at this point you shouldn't spend so lavishly.
Started a period of disunity among the Lombards and allowed some respite to the resource-stripped Roman forces in Italy. Taking advantage of the partially neutralized front, Tiberius made preparations to defeat the Persians. Armies were transferred from the Balkans to the east, while additional troops were recruited. Along with that, Al-Mundir was welcomed in the capital in order to reconcile with the empire.
Good.
The Mesopotamian truce was extended for 3 years by yet another payment, and the Persian offensive captured a few cities on the border. The Magister Meletum Justinian counterattacked with success.
Interesting.
He penetrated deep into Sasanian territory and wintered in the region.
Okay.
An alliance was made with the Franks to get their assistance in Italy.
Oh,
Less fortunately, this year saw the Roman commander Baduarius fall in battle.
damn.
Eventually, Justinian's operations in Persia led to a defeat. He
Let me
retreated
guess, Justinianus didn't have enough forces to combat Tam Khosrow.
back into Roman territory, where he was replaced by the commander of the Imperial Guard, Maurice.
Mauritius! Also known as Persicus Maximus because of his accomplishments in the campaign.
The war
Think of Mauritius's, rise to prominence, kind of like Flavius Aetius, if you're familiar with, his life.
drained much of Tiberius's attention, and he did not invest much of his time in religious matters. When John Scholasticus left the title of Patriarch of Constantinople vacant, he reappointed the previously deposed Eutychius. In 578, full-scale war resumed.
Okay.
Khosrow invaded, while Maurice did the same, taking a few
Interesting.
fortresses which forced the Sasanians to go back.
Also, this year, shouldn't, I think this year Justinus will die. Justinus II will die this year, I'm pretty sure. Beaten by a monkey, I think.
The Emperor Justin II
Yep.
died, leaving Tiberius as sole monarch.
Yep, the death of Justinus II confirmed Tiberius II as Augustus, who then had to deal with Sophia's scheming. Yeah, you have to remember that Sophia was the wife of Justinus II, so she was still Augusta by rank.
Sophia wished to keep her influence as Augusta and wanted to marry Tiberius to ensure that. However, Tiberius refused and moved his family and his wife into the imperial palace. He started his reign as Augustus with further gifts to the army and allowed himself to remit a year of taxation.
That's huge,
Also,
dude!
A plot led by the discontented Sophia and Justinian was discovered and aborted.
That plot should have been successful, dude. They should have deposed Tiberius. Tiberius, I wouldn't say that he was a bad emperor per se, but he was ignorant. He was ignored. He was very ignorant. Much like his predecessor, Justinus.
Independently from their overlords, the Slavs attacked in Thrace. This time, the Romans and Avars cooperated to repel them.
Interesting.
In Italy, the lack of men was continuously compensated with money and diplomacy with Franks and Lombards.
Bruh.
In Africa, Gramules was eventually defeated by an imperial expedition led by Gennadius. Some territories were conquered, and the Gramules' kingdom collapsed.
Bruh.
Khosrow died, and
Finally.
the new Shah, Omizd, was not willing to carry out negotiations.
Bruh.
The war was far from over. In Syria, there were accusations of underground pagan activities towards high officials.
Interesting.
Two of the main suspects were Anatolius, an eastern governor, and Gregory, Patriarch of Antioch. After a first trial, the cases were transferred to the capital. Here, the lenient sentences towards the supposed pagans angered the population. Riots started, and Tiberius was forced to take further action.
Whoa.
Gregory was relieved of his charges and remained patriarch. Anatolius was not so lucky.
Whoa.
He was given to the beasts in the hippodrome and died in horrible manner. The imperial treasury was reaching its limits. Troops suffered from a lack of pay, and the government failed to provide the Avar tribute for that year.
Damn.
Consequently, they returned on the offensive and besieged Sirmium. Al-Mundir was once again warmly received in Constantinople. Tiberius offered him various gifts and honors. Since the Ghassanids were adherents of the Monophysite faith, Al-Mundir was also authorized to hold a religious council aimed at uniting this branch of Christianity. Back to his domains, he attacked and defeated his Lakhmid rivals.
Okay, we got the Ghassanids back, that's good.
Maurice launched a new attack, while the Sasanians focused their efforts in putting down the rebels in the Caucasus.
I think this is where Mauritius got the title of Persicus Maximus.
Now joined by Al-Mundir,
Mm.
Maurice marched along the Euphrates,
Mm-hmm.
this time targeting the Sasanian capital of Ctesiphon. However, a Persian army attacked Roman Mesopotamia, forcing the troops to turn back.
They should have kept going.
Maurice blamed King Al-Mundir for the failure of the operation
Bruh.
and accused him of treason. He went to the capital
That's
to make
crazy.
his voice heard. There was little evidence, but Tiberius decided to side with his general nevertheless. Al-Mundir was arrested and brought to the capital.
Bro, okay. Honestly, based on how it was described by the narrator, I think Al-Mundir was a pretty nice guy, you know? He deserved better.
This event triggered animosity with the Arabs.
Again.
They raided the eastern provinces and even defeated a provincial army.
Foreshadowing?
With no other option,
Damn.
Tiberius surrendered the city of Sirmium and evacuated its population. He
Bruh.
had to pay the cumulative unpaid tributes of the last 3 years.
Oh, man.
With this crucial fortress
Yep.
under Avar control, the latter were now free to strike all over the Balkans.
Yep.
The region was to be further destabilized as the Slavs, defying imperial authority, had started settling in Roman territory, with some of their
Yep.
raids reaching as far as Greece. In Mesopotamia, Maurice obtained a decisive victory, repelling the Persian offensive.
Nice.
Not long after, Tiberius fell gravely ill,
Yeah, around this
and
time.
the question of succession was brought to the table.
Mm.
There were two main candidates, a certain Germanus and Maurice. Both were acclaimed Caesar and married one of Tiberius's daughters.
Oh.
There were talks involving the split of the empire in two.
It should have happened, honestly, because normally you would think that would weaken the empire, that would split the empire's forces, but that will, like, in the short run, yeah, that would be terrible. But in the long run, it would be super, super, effective, because then the eastern side wouldn't have to worry about the west, and the western side wouldn't have to worry about the east, which will mean that they will be allowed to, gather their own forces and go on multiple campaigns. The Roman Empire will still exist as a state, just with two administrative regions, basically, the west and east. So you could have even like Mauritius as the senior emperor and Germanus as the junior emperor, but like still ruling on his own, Germanus, the west, And with Germanus, maybe he would be able to prevent the fall of Italia to Lombards. Maybe he would consolidate Africa more. Maybe he would even push back the Visigoths. Who knows?
The eastern part for Maurice and the western part for Germanus.
Yep.
Maurice ended up being acclaimed Augustus alone, just a day before Tiberius's death.
It is said that Germanus, he refused to be acclaimed as Augustus, and he would rather have Mauritius become sole Augustus, sole emperor, to not weaken the empire, quote unquote. But I think like behind the scenes, not written in the records, maybe he was threatened by Mauritius. Who knows? And honestly, it is a high chance if it happened, a split, then there will be a civil war at some point. So yeah. Okay, is it the end?
The latest years
no.
of geopolitical
Okay, so this is the
developments
summer. Okay.
show cracks forming all around the Mediterranean Sea. Hispania was already being rolled back. Italy was nothing more than a battleground.
Yep.
And the Balkan provinces were under heavy pressure. The inability of the Romans to maintain territorial integrity proved one thing: the empire was overextended, and the imperial resources were not sufficient enough to manage the many fronts.
Not really. Not really. That's what contemporary historians and other historians, modern historians and scholars say. But in my eyes, I may be wrong, not saying I'm right, but in my eyes, like I said, if the empire is in a stable position, which means if the empire is led by a competent person, then it will survive and it will thrive. Like, I will give you an example, basically. Like, think of think of like Andronicus the third, right? You know how terrible his grandfather's rule was of the empire. Andronicus the second's rule, like during his reign, Anatolia was lost basically, and a lot of European provinces were lost as well. So like the empire basically decreased in population, administration, bureaucracy, economy, and lands a lot, by quite a lot. Imagine that. The navy was basically disbanded whole. Andronicus III uh, Andronicus III, basically, right? Yeah, during his reign, Nicomedia and Chalcedon fall. Basically, the fall of Anatolia is fallen. Just Philadelphia remains, right? But he manages to consolidate the lands around Hellas, Macedonia, Thrace. Like she leaves the empire upon his death on a stronger position that he founded. In terms of administration, diplomacy, military, basically, he also rebuilt the navy to some extent. So like you can see what a capable ruler can do to a weakening empire, right? Like imagine Justinian himself, or not even Justinian. Imagine Anastasius, right? A capable administrator. If he were to rule the empire during his time, during this time, this period over here, let's say instead of like Tiberius, Justin the second successor is Anastasius, let's say, right? Then the economy by the end of his reign would have been better, and maybe the empire wouldn't have lost so many lands, because you do have a way better economy. But better economy means better paid troops. Better paid troops mean better morale, stuff like that. So yeah, honestly, I think the fall of the Roman Empire mostly is done because of weak leadership. That's the only reason.
The religious split between the Chalcedonians and the Monophysites of Syria and Egypt was by now well established, and no solution was able to heal the division.
Yep.
This was the challenging situation Maurice found the emperor in when he took the throne in 582.
Maurice, in Latin he's named Mauritius, or Maritius. I think he's a decent emperor. I must say this. He's a decent military commander. I think he's one of the few emperors during the 500s where he was, a soldier emperor. As you guys saw, he was a magister militum. So yeah, I think his administrative policies were iffy, were like half and half, good and bad. His diplomatic ones not that good, honestly. But his military points to the rulership, they were pretty great. So yeah, Mauritius needs to be covered more, honestly. But yeah, well, this was it, guys. I think so. Yeah, I just need agree. Okay, so ancient sites, pretty good video. I really liked it, honestly. The map is gorgeous, honestly. I really like it. I really like the animations. I like the visuals, everything. I also like how it's presented. Super nice. I like the background music as well. Pretty nice. Interesting. Top 3 most dangerous jobs in the Roman Empire: Danube border guard, silkworm smuggler, and governor of Africa. I mean, I can see it. I can see it, honestly. I can see it. Oh, I like how it took over 500 years for the Romans to have another emperor named Tiberius. Oh my gosh, I said the same thing in the previous video about, the second emperor from Tiberius, lol. So yeah, go check out that video, by the way. Anyways, hope you guys liked it. I'm subscribed to this guy. And you should definitely expect more videos from this channel as well. I also learned a lot about, Tiberius and, no, actually, more than, yeah, Tiberius the second. I knew about him not quite well, decent enough, I guess, but now I learned more about him, honestly, and I'm very grateful. So yeah, all of that being said, I hope you guys liked it. I certainly did, and yeah, I'll see you guys next time, lol. Have a good one. Bye bye.